We're live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra. In Kumasi, we're on Love 99.5 FM. We're live on myjoyonline.com. We're live in all 16 regions. Radio Y in Wa, Radio Max in Takrady, Bedering FM in Bunkrugu, and Amenuve FM in Aflao. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. The Midday News is supported by Petrol Soul, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Soul is always a delightful experience. Coming up in this edition, Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam set to present the last mid-year budget review statement of the Akufo-Addo government.
This mid-year review cannot end Ghana's unsustainable debt. This mid-year review cannot end the escalating prices of goods and services in Ghana.
Better when the cedi to the dollar is moving around 16 cities. You call this a better.
I bet you're wondering what's causing the delay. You're not alone. I'll take you live to Parliament, plus hear from some economists who are demanding a reduction in taxes.
Well, the taxes are already too high. I just checked a ticket cost, for instance, and about 38% is airport tax.
The textile industry was booming. We were employing over 30,000 people. Today, we employ less than 3,000 people. Only 3 companies are operating.
Also, public boards, corporations and statutory entities lost 8.7 billion cedis at the end of 2023 as the Auditor General blames the anomaly on procurement, contracts and other irregularities. We'll also tell you how the Electricity Company of Ghana ended the year 2022 with a loss of 10 billion cedis. And a breath of fresh air blows among workers of the Tema Oil Refinery as the Minister of State at the Energy Ministry, Herbert Krapper, assures his commitment to revamp the ailing firm.
Finding a strategic partner is really the objective on the horizon. I'm sure while we wait for that, there should be some immediate interventions.
I'll take you live to Tema to update you on the Minister's tour of energy installations in the enclave. We have sports.
Ghana's men's relay team appears ready to end the country's 6 decades of medal drought at the upcoming Olympic Games.
And Chief of WA, alarmed by continuous reported cases of serial killings in the region, appeals to the NPP flag bearer to come to their rescue.
As chairman of the Ghana Police Council, Your Excellency, we implore you to use your office to enhance the capacity of the WA and Upper West Police Command. We urgently need additional men and logistics to effectively address the current security challenges we face.
That and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. Please do stay on. Many thanks for your company. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. We're digging now, and Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam is expected to present the last mid-year budget review statement of the Akufo-Addo government in Parliament. The presentation is expected to update the House on implementation of the government's 2024 budget and also provide revised financial plans and an updated economic outlook for Ghana. An update on growth measures, revenue, expenditure performance, financing and debt sustainability are also expected to be featured in this presentation. Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Murtala Mohammed, and former Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, ahead of that, have been sharing their views.
Better when fuel price, a gallon of a liter of petrol is now 15 cities getting to 16 cities, and you describe this as better. Better when the cedi to the dollar is moving around 16 cities. You call this a better. Better when, transportation price fares are increasing, and we have seen signals. Better when the economy is in a very ramshackle state. I really don't think that this is what you can describe as something that is turning for good. Maybe perhaps there is a different definition of what constitutes good.
But Honorable, let's look at the numbers, and I agree with you maybe on the reality. But coming from a past where inflation was over 52%.
Who took it to 52%?
When
COVID ended, the IMF indicated to us that the prospects were good. Yet the price, the cedi kept on losing value.
Yeah.
So clearly, sometimes when you take such statements by these Bretton Woods institutions, you'll be deceiving yourself. Tell me, any time you are having an elections, the verdict of the IMF is always something that is good.
Produce the same undesirable, disappointing outcome. This mid-year review cannot end Ghana's unsustainable debt. This mid-year review cannot end the escalating prices of goods and services in Ghana. This mid-year review cannot end the frustration of the private sector with the cost of doing business in Ghana. But this media review should be able to reintroduce road tolls. You remember we told them that they will come back to it.
Is that what you are picking up, that they are going to do that? Because the impression we got was that...
If they are a smart government, they have come under the National Road Authority Bill, kind of smuggled it in as a policy without apologizing to Ghanaians that they now believe that road toll is worthwhile. It has always been worthwhile.
That's Joy Business editor Georgia Faye's interaction with Tamale Central MP Murtala Mohammed and then former minority leader Haruna Idrisu. Well, let me bring in a parliamentary affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, also on standby in Parliament, awaiting the mid-year budget review. And we're working the lines, and I'll bring back Kweku Asante shortly on the line. I bet you're wondering what has been causing this particular delay. It's 6 past midday, and by now, that mid-year budget review presentation should have been underway by now by the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. But the pictures and the sites from Parliament as we see it, it appears the side of the minority is empty, and we have a few members of the majority side hovering around in Parliament. That's live on the Joy News channel as we speak, and it doesn't look like we have any member on the minority side in Parliament. What exactly is happening? We're picking some information, and my colleague Kweku Asante will join us shortly with details from what we are learning in Parliament. But Director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quarty, ahead of the presentation, wants government to reduce taxes.
That we are back to square one. They are giving us guesstimates as property rates to collect not proper assessment of our properties for us to pay property rates. And therefore, we are not getting much one would have envisaged. But having said that, I think the platform has been set. So going forward, I expect them to speed up the process so we could collect more property taxes. With the mid-year budget, I don't expect to see higher taxes. I expect us to be more efficient in collecting whatever we set out to do. When the taxes are already too high, I just checked a ticket cost, for instance, and about 38% is airport tax. If you haven't checked, those who travel, check airport tax, calculate the tax as a proportion of the total amount you pay for your ticket. 38%. I mean, this is just too much. And I think we need to, perhaps we have to have a conversation on what actually goes into these airport taxes and where does the money go to. And so are other forms of taxes. But let's make efficient use of the systems, the digital systems, and collect the existing taxes. I believe we'll be better off than introducing a new one. That distorts production, that distorts the private sector's activities.
We have some reaction, also expectations from industry. We'll be hearing from the Association of Ghana Industry shortly. But I have the all clear to take you to Parliament now to settle the issues in our mind about what exactly is causing that particular delay. And Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us on the line. So what exactly was the time scheduled for the mid-year budget review, Kweku?
Well, Emefa, 10 a.m. That is what the Speaker of Parliament adjourned sittings from yesterday to 10 a.m. That is the time that this mid-year budget presentation was expected to start. It is midday, 2 hours past that time. It hasn't started. In fact, I'm in the coffee shop now. I see a number of NDC MPs already seated there, but they are refusing to go into the chamber. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, they've raised significant concerns about what they say their common fund monies that have not been paid and all that, and for which reason we are getting an indication that they are not willing to go into the chamber until they get some understanding from the finance minister that will be paid, and that hasn't come in. In fact, over the last 30 minutes or so, I've gotten an indication that the Minister of Finance himself is in Parliament. I've seen pictures of him in the majority leader's office having some undertakings and engagement to try and get the minority leadership. We can also confirm the minority leadership, all of them in Parliament now, but they are trying to get their own pound of flesh to try and get something, commitment from the Finance Minister before they will come. And that is why if you go into the chamber now, more than 2 hours after proceedings was expected to start, a number of NPP MPs are already seated, NDC MPs are not seated. Let me talk to Ernest Noble. Honorable, why have you not gone into the chamber? What is that?
Well, there's no challenge, as we speak. We are just waiting.
Waiting for who?
For the minister to come so that we move to the chamber.
We've gotten an indication that you may be tempted to boycott this because of common fund issues and all. You raised that on the floor, but that has not been paid.
Is it, well, that hasn't come to my notice as we speak now. Yes, there were outstanding matters about the common fund, but we have not taken any decision concerning that boycotting the proceeding today. Not at all.
Right.
Yeah.
That is honorable, and it's not. We're giving us some indication that when it comes to their side, information doesn't seem to have trickled from the top to the very bottom that they may be boycotting this. But that is the indication we've gotten from very senior members in the minority leadership ranks that they are trying to get their own power, trying to exact something from the finance minister, get him to make some commitments about paying the common fund, and they will head right into the chamber for proceedings to start. We can confirm the Speaker of Parliament is also here. All that is outstanding is for the minority leadership to clear this hurdle, and then we can get in and start proceedings.
So do we have any indication exactly as to when this mid-year budget review will be presented with all the issues and concerns that you've raised?
Well, at this rate, we may be looking towards 1 p.m. because I've just also gotten an indication from the majority whip that the finance minister is going to move from the majority leader's office. It's going to come through the ceremonial gates of Parliament and then be ushered to the Speaker's lobby, and then more conversation can take place. In my experience, when you are ushered into the Speaker's lobby, that is where a lot of talks happen to try and see if they can get both sides on the same table to try and agree on some issues. And so, having tried to resolve the issues from the majority leadership's angle, the Speaker of Parliament himself probably will intervene when the Minister of Finance is ushered through the ceremonial gate to the Speaker's lobby. That is when some of these talks can be undertaken before they will probably walk into the chamber. Some of us will be looking towards not least 1 p.m. before this presentation, which was originally scheduled to start at 10. May start. That is 3 hours later than originally scheduled.
That's Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante giving us all the details as to what could be causing this particular delay of the mid-year budget review, which was scheduled to happen at 10 a.m. It's 12 minutes past 12 now as we speak, and still it's not happening. It's still an empty house or an empty chamber as we speak. But we've been hearing also from the Chief Executive of the Association of Ghana Industries, Seth Chuma Kwabwa, who says industry has yet to fully enjoy the tax incentives announced in the 2024 budget.
Some of them have been taken on board. Others have not been taken on board. We still have a lot of issues with some of the taxes. Those that have been taken on board, it's helping industry, no doubt about it. But what we keep saying is that for industry to grow and perform, a couple of things must happen simultaneously. VAT exemption on textiles, for example. This was already there, and it got to a point where it was ending, and we asked for extension of it. Yeah. And it was granted. So once it was granted, it has helped to stabilize the textile industries. And we keep saying, if you remember, in the past, the textile industries was booming. We were employing over 30,000 people. Today, we employ less than 3,000 people. Only 3 companies are operating. One of them, who was operating about, half capacity, today has even closed down. And only a few are doing well. So they have a serious challenge because of unfair competition. That has nothing to do with even capacity to produce and compete. It's because when they produce, their designs are copied, come into the country, and because they are coming as smuggled goods, they don't pay the duties, they don't pay the taxes. So they come in cheaply and compete with those that are producing here. And that's the reason why we ask for some of these exemptions. And
That's Seth Chuma Kwabwa. There is the AGI Chief Executive interacting with us earlier ahead of the mid-year budget review. And we're still watching Parliament for you. But away from the mid-year budget review for now, public boards, corporations and statutory entities lost 8.7 billion cedis at the end of the 2023 financial year. The details are contained in the Auditor General's report for the period ending December 2023. The report also described as deteriorating 10 billion cedis lost by the Electricity Company of Ghana as of the end of the year 2022. My colleague Elton Brobe has been studying that report, joins me in studio with all that we need to know. Well, Elton, let's start with the general loss for all public entities reported by the Auditor General.
So, in sum, it is 8.799 billion Ghana cedis. Now, according to the Auditor General, 135 state entities presented their audited accounts for auditing. Now, in the year ending 2023, only 113 presented their audited accounts. 22 state agencies did not respond to the Auditor General's letter to present their audited accounts for auditing, also to avail themselves for questioning. 22 out of 135 did not comply with the Auditor General's directive. Now, they say that the total irregularities stood at 8.7 billion, was made up of recoverable amount and administrative infractions figures. The administrative irregularities were made up of procurement irregularities and other procedural infractions and lapses in public financial management.
And let's talk about what accounted for the loss.
According to the report, outstanding debts, loan recoverables, these irregularities represent intergovernment agencies' debt, trade debtors, staff debtors, outstanding loans and cash locked up in non-performing investment. Included in this figure is a debt of 8.2 billion cedis owed to Bank of Ghana by the Ghana Cocoa Board.
Okay.
The absence of effective debt collection policies, non-existence of credit control to recover the debt, and management indifference postures towards loan recovery contributed significantly to these conditions. Also, improper maintenance of records on debtors, the absence of debt aging analysis, non-documentation of agreement stipulating the terms and conditions of loans, failure to ensure that loans are repaid, and management non-compliance with the rules and regulations accounted for these irregularities.
Now, Elton, let's deal with some of the sectors, starting with the Electricity Company of Ghana.
Interesting, the ECG is among the 22 companies that did not submit audited accounts for the year ending 2023. So what the Auditor General reported covers the period ending December 2022. The company ended the year with a loss of 10.2 billion Ghana cedis as compared to a loss of 1.9 billion recorded in 2021, representing 433.5% in its financial performance. Whilst expenditure was 25 billion Ghana cedis during the period, income stood at 15 billion, leaving over 10 billion cedis in losses. The ECG, according to the report, says this is mainly due to increases in direct costs and foreign exchange losses. The increase in direct costs was attributed to increases in the cost of power purchase and transmission costs.
Okay, so I realize that the ECG, the period we're talking about is 2022. Is there a reason why?
In fact, ECG is among the 22 companies or state enterprise that did not submit their audited accounts for the year 2023, according to the Auditor General.
Well, there's also an infraction raised against the Health Ministry, for instance. Let's talk about it.
The report says that management made payment totaling 1.2 billion Ghana cedis for the procurement of various goods and services, but did not obtain alternative quotation from at least 3 different sources or approval from the board of the Public Procurement Authority to use a single source procurement method. The recommendation is that there should be sanction against such officers that did not comply with the procurement laws.
Okay.
That the figure 1.2 billion Ghana cedis was done without going through the procurement exercise.
Interesting findings, Elton, and definitely we'll be digging deeper into this particular Auditor General's report for the period ending December 2023. Now let's hit the road. Let me take you to the Tema Enclave. And Minister of State at the Energy Ministry, Herbert Krapper, has reiterated government's commitment to bring the Tema Oil Refinery back to life. According to him, plans are underway to secure a strategic investor for the company's revamping. The refinery is currently operating at about 45,000 barrels per stream day, well below its full capacity due to several factors, including a lack of investment. But speaking at a meeting with management of TOR on his first year at work, Herbert Krapper assured of the government's commitment to finding a strategic investor.
I'm looking forward to engaging management on what your plans are. I'm quite intimately versed with the issues that TOR has. I believe that finding a strategic partner is really the objective on the horizon. I'm sure while we wait for that, there should be some immediate interventions to prepare us towards that. I don't believe that we should wait around until that event. I am of the conviction that we can work towards that. I hope that we'll all have that at the back of our minds.
Well, my colleague Carlos Caloni is with a team on that tour, joins us on the line. Let's talk about the facilities the minister has visited today.
All right, Emefa. So today being his first official working day, the minister is visiting Tema Oil Refinery, where he's engaged with the staff and management. Currently, we are at the Central Refinery, and the day is expected to end at Tropical Cable. Now, the main objective of the visit is to familiarize himself with the operations and challenges of these key stakeholders in the energy sector as he takes in charge of the energy ministry.
So the minister has also been addressing that long-standing disagreement between staff and management of TOR?
Exactly, Emefa. So he said he appreciates the fact that there are competing interests in Tor. However, he is calling on all parties to come together to collectively work towards the revamping of the fair.
I know that the different bodies in Tor always, sort of have some form of, disagreement or the other. I hope that this time we can get everybody on board, management, the board, the unions, so that we can save a lot of time and move forward with revamping Tor. My objective, and you have the fullest support of government and the ministry, is for Tor to work.
And Carlos, you've also been speaking to the new managing director, Kofi Tego Makumba. What exactly did he say will be new?
Well, Emefa, he also believes that with the ongoing negotiations, which is aimed at bringing a strategic investor on board, if that is done, in the next 3 months, they are likely to see the crude dissolution unit, which is the CDU, which has been sitting idle, is likely to come back to life within the next 3 months.
I see Tor in the next 3 months is going to get lit up. We're going to start our plant, we're going to get a CDU started, and we're going to get functioning. In the next 3 years, which will be a systematic process that we start from now, with the CDU, in a year from now, we'll have the IRCC working, we'll have our PRF also working, and that by then, in 3 years, Tor will be running at 60,000 barrels per stream day, and we'll be looking towards expanding the plant into 100,000 barrels per stream day factory.
That's the new managing director of the Tema Oil Refinery, Kofi Tego Makumbi. They're interacting with my colleague Carlos Kaloni during that working tour of Herbert Cropper, the Minister of State at the Energy Ministry. It's time for a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are on Love 99.5 FM, live on myjoyonline.com. We're live in all 16 regions. The Midday News is supported by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol is always a delightful experience. We've been talking about what exactly is holding up this year's presentation of the last mid-year budget review statement of the Akufo-Addo government by the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. As we speak, still live pictures from the Chamber of Parliament still has an empty minority side with some other majority members scattered across. We're still waiting to see when exactly we'll get to begin this mid-year budget review. We'll return from the break. We'll bring you sport and also head to the Upper West region where the chief of WA is alarmed by the continuous reported cases of serial killings in the region.
As chairman of the Ghana Police Council, Your Excellency, we implore you to use your office to enhance the capacity of the WA and Upper West Police Command. We urgently need additional men and logistics to effectively address the current security challenges we face.
Get closer to split-second wins. Closer to history in the making. Closer to your champions.
Greatest athletic achievements of all time.
Get DSTV to get closer to the 2024 Paris Olympic Games from 26 July to 11 August with 9 dedicated channels for the best coverage of every medal and every podium moment. On Supersport on DSTV, your home of entertainment.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah.
Welcome and now for a daily star 712 hash and found no regrets. A side comma investors are a striking gold. A comma health workers are a diagnosing luck with precision. A side comma that tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. Say a comma passionate fan on also entering containing a joy. After to the seamstresser or turning a hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, a comma if you say your next big win is right here.
For everyone, yeah. Luck is everywhere.
Dial star 712 hash and join the luckiest winning celebration. From the 1st of July 2024, dial star 712 hash to keep buying tickets as a group, individual, or even as a community. Win loads of cash and prizes in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Join the winning streak now.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere, for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
This is the Midday News. It's time for sports. Mubarak.
Yes,
have we
Emefa.
found the visa? Okay.
Well, I beg you. Yes, Emefa. So the Paris 2024 Olympic Games begins in just 3 days, and Ghana will be represented by 8 athletes, including 5 in the men's 4x100 meters relay event. The country has not won a medal in that event since 1964, but there is renewed optimism about ending the long-standing drought. Here's the president of Ghana Athletics, Bao Fuseni.
This is one of the fastest 4x100 we have ever assembled for these games. And I have so much confidence and hope in this athlete that they will make it to the finals. And after the finals, then we will pray for at least a podium performance. But if you look at their rankings now, 10th in the world. It's not a mere achievement. And we have never assembled these athletes before. But we have beefed up the Bahamas team with addition of Samini, who is our fastest athlete now. I wouldn't be surprised this team at the finals what they would do in the finals.
Yep, Emefa, president of Ghana Athletics. Are you hopeful?
Yeah, we wish them the best. Thank you very much, Mubarak. Let's get into the election headquarters. And your election headquarters is made possible by Petrosol, Clean Fuel in full quantity, SIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, SIMA, AICPA, and SIMA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, Chopbox Technologies, a convenience service, Youth Bridge Foundation, Bridging Gaps for Positive Youth Development, and the campaign of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is in the Upper West region, and the overlord of WA, Na Fuseni Seydou Pelpo, is alarmed over the growing number of serial killings in the area. The latest incident involves the murder of a middle-aged driver's mate whose body was discovered with his throat slit behind the trailer. This adds to the series of mysterious killings of security personnel whose bodies have been found decapitated or with organs including private parts removed. We can hear from the Wana on his concerns to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia.
May Your Excellency permit me at this juncture to address the most pressing issue which refuses to be solved now. This particular visit of yours comes at a time when we are grappling with a resurgence of the disturbing trend of serial killings of watchmen in Wa, a recurrence of the tragic events of 2022. We are deeply concerned about the safety and security of our people, particularly the vulnerable watchmen who work tirelessly to protect our communities. As chairman of the Ghana Police Council, Your Excellency, we implore you to use your office to enhance the capacity of the WA and Upper West Police Command. We urgently need additional men and logistics, such as patrol vehicles, to effectively address the current security challenges we face.
Well, we can hear from Dr. Mahmoud Baumia his response to the people. He's assured the people of WA they will benefit more under his presidency and appeal to them for their support.
I believe that the North and the WA state will benefit more from 8 years of a Baumia presidency than 4 years of the other option. So I am making a plea that we should look at this carefully. When the presidency leaves the North, it may not come back for a very long time. So if we have a chance to get the presidency, let us look at somebody who has already done a lot of work and shows that if he is president, he can do more. And let us get it for 8 years and help this country. I am therefore pleading that in your prayers and your support, you help me to sit on that seat. Then you know you have your own son in the seat as President of the Republic of Ghana.
Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, there. It's time for M&J. And guess who's here with Jackie? Jackie, you brushed all about it.
Yes, I did.
What are people talking about?
Well, let me fast. So, Vice President Kamala Harris is trending, obviously running for president now. And NCA is still trending, Lois.
Yes. Now, Sami Okujetu Ablakwa has also joined. And he's saying that he fully endorses Ghanaians or Ghanaian people. Yes. He took to his ex, and he said that I fully endorse the Ghanaian people's legitimate demand for an immediate reduction in the cost of data. Data is not luxury. Exorbitant data also undermines the quality of democracy, as many citizens are priced out of making their democratic contributions. So social media has reacted to that. A lot of people are happy that, at least we have an MP backing us on this. So, yes.
Well, we're hoping that there's a change, though.
Obviously.
I know, right? Yeah. But then, Emefa, sometimes when issues happen and you try to explain yourself, you probably get yourself into trouble. You go explain to you. KK Fosi, so some months ago, there was an accident involving him and Bless and another blogger. But then the blogger lost his life. And he was missing at the funeral of the blogger. So people wanted to find out.
Go? No, he
didn't. So yesterday on Hit FM, they called him to find out why. And he explained that, with this person, he doesn't really care about that. His exact words was, he doesn't care about the death of John Claude. His life shouldn't cease because of that. But then later on in the day, he came to apologize. The explanation was, I don't know why, but the explanation was just explaining and explaining. Yes, it got to that.
Now there's updates on it. He says that he's going to release music to back his claims that, at the end of the day, it's because he's alive and living that people have things.
Yeah, but he actually apologized for that.
Music in the background. I'll play it. Let's end the midday news. Thank you, girls, for joining us for MNJ. And that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Of course, leave your dials here. We'll be taking you live to Parliament just when we have the all clear for the mid-year budget review presentation by Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam. In the meantime, I bring you Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil as we get ready for Greater Works 2024. The Grace of Our Lord Jesus Christ, Episode 2 is the title. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good afternoon.